Coro Sensei from Assassination Classroom presents some fun hypothetical questions for anime fans, namely because they made him so ludicrously fast. For reference, Mach 20 is more than triple the speed of the fastest aircraft currently in existence. He's so fast that, in the very grounded world in which the series takes place, his very ordinary by comparison students can't hope to beat or even match him in a physical contest. It's a great use of an overpowered character because it means his students must rely on wit, research, and careful planning when orchestrating their assassination attempts. But what if Coro Sensei was targeted by someone like Killua, a professional assassin at the age of 11 who is also capable of ridiculously fast speeds thanks to his use of Nen? Could he get the job done in the same time frame? Well, let's see if we can find out if Killua can even match up with Coro Sensei in terms of speed. Because if he does turn out to be faster, well then it's case closed. Now I warn you, this will involve math. It's okay guys, I'm scared too, but don't worry, it shouldn't be anything too difficult. Now there are several examples from Hunter x Hunter that we can look at to try and gauge Killua's speed. One of these comes during his second attempt at the Hunter exam, when we see him bolting around the room as he proceeds to knock out every other competitor, all 1,488 of them. And while it's impressive, by even the most liberal estimates I've been able to make, he clocks in at maybe 15 to 20 meters per second max. Fast enough to easily make him the best sprinter on Earth, but obviously nowhere near close to touching Coro Sensei. But thankfully at this time, Killua was only in the middle of his Nen bootcamp with Bisky, so by the time we reach the climax of the Chimera Ant arc, he's on a whole new level. By the time he's facing down the Royal Guard, Killua has evolved to the height of speed in anime, moving so fast you can't be seen by the naked eye. Now you might be thinking it's impossible for somebody to be traveling this fast. And you're right, congratulations, you understand basic physics. Under most circumstances, and especially from a third-party perspective we're often given, these budget-saving speed lines are not possible, because the way we see things requires light to bounce off them and then hit our eye. So in order to achieve this effect, they need to be traveling faster than the speed of light, something that, for the sake of my sanity, we'll rule out. But there is still a way this can work, and we can find Killua's speed without making Einstein roll over in his grave. Assuming Killua can't beat photons and move faster than the speed of light, he can still beat the other part of this equation, our eyes. Or rather, the eyes of whomever he's fighting. Let me explain. If someone standing in front of you can move outside of your range of vision before your eye can process it, it'll look as if they disappeared. Think of it like you blink and they're gone, only it's much faster. You just need to beat the effective refresh rate of the eye, and luckily enough, we have a scene in Hunter x Hunter where this exact thing appears to happen. After invading Meruem's palace, Killua, while carrying Komugi, plays an intense game of keep away with Shiapoof. And there's a point where he's rushed by said member of the Royal Guard, but as soon as Killua triggers Godspeed, he vanishes, reappearing a good distance away in an instant. We also see that Shiapoof must physically turn his head to actually see Killua after this happens, only doing so once he hears his electricity. So we can assume that Killua moved out of his range of vision. What's harder to assume though is the exact distance he moved in that instant, which is crucial to figuring out just how fast he is. Based on my own rough estimates of this shot, plus trying to recreate it and trying to measure the peripheral range of the human eye, I think Killua moved roughly 30 feet or 10 meters before Shiapoof's eyes could refresh. But what is the refresh rate, or in other words, the effective frame rate of an eye? Well, there isn't necessarily an exact answer in that context because that's not really how we tend to quantify vision. Roughly speaking though, so we can do the math, the average human eye can detect a change roughly 150 times in 1 second. But Chimera Ants aren't exactly equivalent to your average human, especially not members of the Royal Guard. So let's say that Shiapoof is operating around the upper limit of what a human eye can do. Based on data gathered from fighter pilots, that would mean his eyes are refreshing roughly 255 times per second. So what this means is that Killua was able to get out of Shiapoof's effective range of vision, or like we said, 10 meters, in 1/255th of a second. And in doing the dreaded math, we find he moved at an insane 2,550 meters per second. But how does this measure up to Coro Sensei? Well, unfortunately for Killua, Mach 20 clocks in at around 6,860 meters per second, more than twice as fast. But in finding this out, we did assume a lot of variables. Maybe Shiapoof has even better eyesight. Plus, Killua was encumbered during the scene, so we can't confirm he was moving at his top speed. Also taking into account him having to accelerate and then decelerate, and we're left with a lot of unknowns. But even if we, for the sake of argument, decide to fudge our measurements and make Shiapoof's limit around 500 or even 600 times per second, Killua still falls short of our unkillable teacher. But this isn't just a contest of speed, so I wouldn't count him out just because he can't match Coro Sensei. He's incredibly smart, especially in the field of assassination, so it's doubtful he would try to rely on Godspeed to get the job done on its own. We also see Killua go from a measly 15 to 20 meters per second to well over 2,000 in less than a year. Just imagine how much faster he'd get with another year of training with the specific goal in mind to kill Coro Sensei. And while it is impossible to speculate how fast he'd be after that year, I think, like the students of Class 1E, his chances only increase as time goes on. All I'm saying is Coro Sensei better keep his guard up if he doesn't want his heart delivered to him in a tiny bag. But those are just my thoughts and opinions, and I'd love to hear yours. Do you guys think Killua could best Coro Sensei if given a year? What about as an adult? Do you think there's a better character from Hunter x Hunter that could do the job? Whatever it is, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. You can click over here on the left to subscribe if you aren't already, or if I've yet to convince you, feel free to check out some of my other videos on the right. Until next time.